A distributed loudspeaker system uses multiple ceiling-mounted speakers spread across an area. Instead of projecting sound from a single point, the goal here is to provide consistent, even sound coverage throughout the space. This approach is ideal in environments like offices, classrooms, or lobbies. Anywhere you want background music, paging, or general audio to be heard evenly from every seat or corner. It's not about directional sound, it's about uniform coverage. Coverage patterns describe how sound spreads from a loudspeaker, and they change with frequency. At low frequencies, sound tends to disperse more evenly. But as frequency increases, the coverage narrows and becomes more directional. Manufacturers provide polar plots to help you visualize this. They're usually based on a 6 dB drop from the loudspeaker's on-axis level. That's what defines the edge of the coverage. Understanding these patterns is key to designing a system with even sound. To calculate how much floor area a ceiling speaker covers, use this formula. D is the diameter of the coverage area. Uppercase 8 is the ceiling height, and lowercase h is the listener's ear level. C is the loudspeaker's coverage angle, usually taken at the 6 dB down point. This gives you a circle on the floor showing where the speaker provides adequate sound. It's the starting point for placing speakers in a distributed layout. Let's walk through an example. A ceiling speaker with 120 degrees of coverage is mounted at 3 meters height. The seated listener's ear level is at 1.2 meters. Plugging those numbers into the formula gives us a coverage diameter of about 6.2 meters. That's the area one loudspeaker will effectively cover, and it's what you've used to plan speaker spacing in a distributed system. Once you know how much area each loudspeaker covers, the next step is choosing a layout strategy. How you space the speakers affects both coverage and intelligibility, and it depends on ceiling height, budget, and the type of space you're working with. The three most common approaches are edge-to-edge, partial overlap, and edge-to-center. Let's go through each one. Edge-to-edge layout means each loudspeaker's coverage just touches the next. It's the most budget-friendly option and works fine for paging or background music. But be aware, it can cause audible dips in level between speakers. Use this layout when uniformity isn't critical. The spacing is simple, 2 times the coverage radius. In a partial overlap layout, loudspeaker coverage areas overlap slightly. This helps maintain a more consistent sound level throughout the room, especially for speech or foreground music. However, when loudspeakers are too close together, there can be some negative interaction between them, which might affect clarity at certain points in the room. The recommended spacing is the radius multiplied by the square root of 2, or about 1.4 times the radius. Edge-to-center layout offers the most uniform sound coverage. Each loudspeaker's coverage reaches just to the midpoint between neighboring speakers. This reduces gaps and helps maintain clear, even volume across the entire room. It's ideal when speech intelligibility is critical, like in conference rooms or classrooms. The trade-off is cost. Since spacing is tighter, you'll need more loudspeakers to cover the same area. That's your CTS-D quick bit. Subscribe for more fast, focused AV design tips. One topic, once a week, always grounded in AVEXA standards.